Welcome back to another training video by Bermod. Today's video is focused on connecting power to the Omega and landing wires to the Omega terminal blocks. We will begin with the power source option. An Omega controller has three options for power. The first option is the 120-volt AC to 12-volt DC transformer. The second option is to use a 12-volt DC solar panel with built-in battery. Your last option is to use 4C cell batteries and to set the Omega to offline mode. Please note, in offline mode an Omega will only transmit data once a day or when it is directed to in the settings. Connecting the component wires to an Omega will require a small flathead screwdriver with an 1/8-inch head and a pair of wire strippers. The Omegas will accept wire sizes from 20 gauge up to 14 gauge. Wire type may be stranded or solid copper wire. To insert a wire into the terminal blocks, simply use your flathead screwdriver and press the small flathead release directly above the wire terminal. Let's get started. Use your flathead screwdriver to pierce the silicone membrane in the bottom of the Omega, then feed your power wires through. Now, use your flathead screwdriver to press the terminal release. With the release depressed, simply feed your positive voltage wire into the positive wire terminal shown here. Next we will land on negative power wire on the negative wire terminal. Great work! Next we will land your output wires to the terminal blocks. Go ahead and pierce all 5 of the output ports. The Omega controllers use a 12-volt DC pulse to activate an output. This requires a latching 12-volt DC solenoid. With the 5 output wires inserted through the bottom ports, land your positive wires on the numerical terminals and your negative wires on the common terminals. We have dedicated output number 5 for our VFD pump start. Since the VFD drive requires a closed contact to keep the pump running, we will install a latching relay between the Omega and the VFD. With the outputs all wired in, let's move on to the digital or water meter inputs. An Omega controller will accept a dry contact or 12 to 24 volt powered pulse. Please connect the pulse output wires from the water meter to input terminals number 1 and C. Our last section of this video will be wiring analog input sensors. An Omega can support any analog sensor with a 4 to 20 mA output or 0 to 10 volts. Analog sensors do have a power requirement. Please ensure the analog sensor to be used will operate off of 12 volts DC. This completes today's training on powering up an Omega controller and landing component wires to the Omega terminal blocks. Thanks for watching.